In this video, I'll explain how to replace spaces in the column names of a data frame using the R programming language. So without too much talk, let's dive into the R code. So in this video, I will show you two examples, and both of these examples are based on the data frame that we can create with lines 2 to 5 of the code. So if you run these lines of code, you can see at the top right of RStudio that a new data frame is appearing, which is called data. And if you click on this data set, a new window is opened, which is showing the structure of our data frame. And as you can see, our data frame contains 5 rows and 3 columns. And the columns are called X space 1, X space 2, and X space underline space 3. Now let's assume that we want to replace the spaces in these column names. Then we can apply the code that you can see in lines 7 and 8. So in line 7 of the code, I'm first duplicating our data because I want to keep an original version of our data set. So if you run line 7 of the code, you can see at the top right of RStudio that a new data frame is appearing, which is called data new 1. And at this point, this data set contains exactly the same values and the same column names as our input data frame. So if we want to replace the spaces in the column names of this data set, then we can apply the code that you can see in line 8. So in this line of code, I'm applying the colnames function to our data set, and then I'm replacing these colnames by an updated version of the colnames based on the gsub function. And within the gsub function, I'm specifying that I want to replace each space by a dot. So if you run line 8 of the code, our data frame is updated, as you can see by clicking on the new data set, data new 1. And as you can see, the column names of this data set have been changed. So the first column is called x.1. The second column is called x.2. The reason why we have 2 dots in this column name is because we had 2 spaces in the original column name, and the third column is called x._3. So in this first example, I have shown how to use the gsub function to change our column names. However, I want to show you a second example in which I'm using the make.names function instead of the gsub function. And this second example starts in line 10 of the code. So in line 10 of the code, I'm first duplicating our data, as I already did in the first example, to keep an original version of our data set. So after running this line of code, you can see at the top right of RStudio that a new data frame has been created, which is called data new 2. And then in line 11 of the code, I'm again using the colnames function. However, this time I'm using the make.names function instead of the colnames function. And I'm specifying within the make.names function the unique argument to be equal to true. So if you run line 11 of the code, our data set is updated, as you can see by clicking on the new data set, data new 2. And in this window, you can see that the column names of this second data frame have been changed the same way as in the first example. However, this time we have used the make.names function instead of the gsub function. That's all I wanted to explain in this video. In case you want to learn more on this topic, you may check out my homepage, statisticsglobe.com, because on my homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail. I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video, so you can find it there. If you have liked this video, or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. I'll try to respond to all comments as soon as I can. Furthermore, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified about future video releases. I have already published about 500 videos on this channel, and I'm releasing new videos on a daily basis. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.